Our highlights. 1. Corporate social responsibility should begin with responsibility towards nature first, and second, society. By remaining in their comfort zones, many organizations have failed to effectively harness modern ICT technologies to save costs and maximize production and employ more hands. While management has done well by providing healthcare and other support for the family, it seems to ignore a very critical area: its effects on relationships within the family system. Next, government may put all the right policies, laws, and other support systems in place, but if management is dull of ideas and continues inward looking, nothing, absolutely nothing will change. Management should also regularly meet with authorities in education to discuss the real-world dynamics and liaise with them in developing or revising curricula in order to make them more relevant to business. Hello folks, welcome back to the channel, The Business Strategy Analyst. This is your usual presenter, Jules Narte Tokoli. This channel is sponsored by the group Soleil Vision, which is made up of Soleil Consults, nubianbiz.com, sharpnubian.com, and Soleil Publications. We have been doing the value pyramid of management series. In our last video, the question we asked was, is your business strategy in tune with nature? That was as we discussed the first most important component on the value pyramid of management. Today, in the part 2, the question is your business strategy in tune with society? So that is what we're going to be looking at. The second most important component on the pyramid, which is society. And I would like to start with a quote by Adlai E. Stevenson. And this is what he said, quote, "A people that values its privileges above its principles soon loses both," unquote. Society is the aggregate of people living together in a more or less ordered community. This is according to the concise Oxford Dictionary. The importance of society can't be overemphasized, since it is the very essence of humanity. By nature, as they say, man is a social animal. We need one another to progress and prosper. Indeed, studies have been made that prove that a child who is separated from society never gets to learn how to speak. We, therefore, need to hold society as sacrosanct, and that is how management should also view it. Over the decades, management has satisfied itself with corporate social responsibility, or CSR, patting itself on the back for doing so well. Yet, is that really so? What do the facts show? Is it enough just to put back into society what management takes, as the cliche goes? We will be examining these points inter alia. For the value pyramid of management that I propose, society or humanity is the second most important component that management should give attention to, and not shareholder value maximization. Indeed, if business needs nature and society to thrive, how much more the owners or shareholders of the business themselves? Without nature and society, will they be able to finance a business to begin with? Absolutely not. Hence, just as management should help preserve the pristine nature of nature, the pristine condition of nature, it should equally do all it can to preserve society. CSR should therefore begin with responsibility towards nature first, and second, society. We will now give attention to the various institutions, the 5 institutions of society, and analyze to what extent management has been responsible to society. The first one is management and the political institution. Management and the political institution. The political institution is one very important subset of society that has a great impact on business. Government enacts laws, and some government authorities also make bylaws that regulate business and management. But quite apart from that, policies of government, as well as its stability or otherwise, also determine how business thrives. To that extent, government is a big player in society that every business strategy considers before launching a business. However, government also requires or relies heavily on business for its revenue. Without business, government cannot receive taxes, and unemployment will be worse than it is now. Granted, government can also get into business, but modern political intelligence dictates that should be done sparingly and discreetly in very few strategic areas, depending on the needs of a particular society. The relationship between management and government is that symbiotic. How has management lived up to expectation in this regard? By and large, management has done commendably well by paying their taxes, supplementing government's efforts at development, and in many other areas. All the same, there's more room for improvement, since there are still certain underhanded practices that go on in certain organizations. These normally study the tax laws with a microscope, so to speak, to find loopholes to exploit to their benefit. Others would also underdeclare imports so as to evade taxes and many other antisocial tactics. And they always find a way to justify what they do. As part of the economic institution, management is very instrumental in providing employment. Yet, generally, management has not been moving with the times in order to do this more effectively. By remaining in their comfort zones, many organizations have failed to effectively harness modern ICT technology to save costs and maximize production and employ more hands. In those arenas, therefore, there is still more that management should be doing to support government. Next, management and the family institution. The family is another very important institution in society. In truth, it has been described as the basic unit of society. The family system is very instrumental in socializing and educating its members. A broken down family system will therefore mean a broken down society. The family is responsible for grooming individuals who later become invaluable human resources for management. It also provides a market for business. On the other hand, the emoluments that management pays workers make it possible for them to provide adequately for their families. Doing so aids in reducing economic-related vagabondism and crime. As in the case of its relationship with government, then, management's relationship with the family is also symbiotic. However, there are some areas where management can make some improvements. While management has done well by providing healthcare and other support for the family, it seems to ignore a very critical area: its effect on relationships within the family system. In its drive to satisfy shareholders, management does not seem to mind when married people stay overtime working, to the neglect of marital duties. This has often led to a widening gap between spouses. With moral decadence so prevalent, this has usually resulted in divorces that emanated from infidelity. Can management do something about fixing this problem? Secondly, with parents spending more time at work than at home, which today unfortunately has become a status symbol, they hardly have enough time to educate, train, and discipline their children. Whereas the children may have all they need materially, they are emotionally otherwise bankrupt. Can management, by means of modern technology, make work more flexible to enable parents spend more quality time with their children? If management does not take immediate steps to correct the situation, a danger is looming large, and it will be too late to save the situation if that specter hits. The signs are already there. Emotionally imbalanced children, delinquency, immorality, and the list goes on and on. It takes not the educational system, but parents to instill the right values in children, the very values that management requires of employees. Shouldn't the shareholder value maximization motive therefore give way to this more noble society or social responsibility? Management and the economy. As stated earlier, management plays a very crucial role in the economy. Without management, there will be no economy. For the economy to prosper, then, it depends to a large extent on the quality of management that we have. If we have progressive, astute management that does not satisfy itself with mediocrity, the economy will do well. On the other hand, if management is pleased with the status quo and is stagnant, the economy will continue to sink. In all areas of management, both governance and functional, there is a great need for improvement. Politicians are often blamed for a bad economy, and justifiably so. But I believe the scale is not balanced when management is not equally blamed. Government may put all the right policies, laws, and other support systems in place. But if management is dull of ideas and continues inward looking, nothing, absolutely nothing, will change. Yet, it seems that management's responsibility in this regard is either on the blind side of people or is simply ignored. When all and sundry will begin questioning management policies, practices, and processes, putting management on its toes, that is when progress will come and will reflect in positive economic progress. Holding management responsible should not be left in the hands of shareholders alone. Both larger society and every employee should be interested in the way things are run. One IT company in Ghana used to have this slogan that I liked: proudly yours, quote unquote. Can management also, by extension, begin acknowledging that as a very important stakeholder in the economy and society at large, its business actually belongs to who? To society. Yes, that realization is very important to put the interests of larger society ahead of parochial shareholder interests. Management and education. That is the educational institution of society. Apart from its responsibility toward the family, the source of informal education, management should equally be interested in the formal education sector. While it is true that management has shown some commitment toward the responsibility, or rather that responsibility over the decades, its efforts can largely be described as passive. Why should it be that students should literally beg companies to do internships? Are these not the very ones that these organizations would eventually employ? Some time ago, a caller into one of the programs on radio that is in Ghana made a very creative contribution during the discourse on accommodation challenges on university campuses in that country. He suggested that instead of the in-out or whatever policy there was at the time, level 300 students should be made to do internships with various institutions. That would free the lecture halls and the rooms. But along that same line, that will give students a feel of the real working world and will be invaluable in their development. Management should also regularly meet with authorities in education to discuss the real world dynamics and liaise with them in developing or revising curricula in order to make them more relevant to business. According to The Time, January 24th, 2005, and I quote, "Most colleges are seriously out of step with the real world in getting students ready to become workers in the post-college world." In the light of this, collaboration between management and the educational institution of society is inevitable. As Adlai E. Stevenson's quote at the outset puts it, management has to put social or societal values ahead of its own privileges and those of shareholders. That is how society will continue to support businesses by providing both human resources and the market. Otherwise, management will end up losing society. And with society gone, there will be no privileges to enjoy. From what we've discussed so far, then, management will be better off preserving society rather than just putting back what it takes out of it. By doing so, the shareholder will also enjoy their dividends. Let's put first things first, and we will prosper.
Welcome to the Business Africa Hub, your one-stop platform for all things African business. Our platform provides a space for African entrepreneurs to connect, collaborate, and grow their businesses. With exclusive interviews, industry insights, and networking opportunities, we're empowering the next generation of African business leaders. From tech to agriculture, finance to creative industries, we're shining a spotlight on the most exciting and impactful businesses in Africa. Join the Business Africa Hub community today and be part of the continent's entrepreneurial revolution.
Like, share, subscribe, thank you.
So, this is what we've been discussing so far. Our highlights. 1. Corporate social responsibility should begin with responsibility towards nature first, and second, society. By remaining in their comfort zones, many organizations have failed to effectively harness modern ICT technologies to save costs and maximize production and employ more hands. While management has done well by providing healthcare and other support for the family, it seems to ignore a very critical area: its effect on relationships within the family system. Next, government may put all the right policies, laws, and other support systems in place. But if management is dull of ideas and continues inward looking, nothing, absolutely nothing will change. Management should also regularly meet with authorities in education to discuss the real-world dynamics and liaise with them in developing or revising curricula in order to make them more relevant to business. So, folks, once again, we've come to another edition of our presentation on the Business Strategy Analyst. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you haven't done so, subscribe, and please like and share the video. Thanks so much for your support so far on this journey, and I'll see you on the next video. I wish you all best management practices. Adios.
Like, share, subscribe, thank you.